Hello, welcome to another episode of Pole Position, the podcast. I'm your host, Jacob Holmes, and it's just me and Raf today. Um, Thanks, Raf, for agreeing, not just agreeing to be on this pod, but pushing me specifically to make this episode of the podcast. I was like, it's a Sunday night Golden Globes. We normally come out on Monday mornings. We've been kind
Mhm.
of on a holiday break. This is still new to me as a podcast maker and trying to figure out how to do things. And Raf was like, hey, you're going to do something about the Golden Globes? I was like, well, probably not unless you're willing to hop on like tomorrow night. And Raph was like, yeah, I'm there. So here we are, the night after the Golden Globes. Neither of us watched the Golden Globes live. Um, I was actually busy watching Sentimental Value for this award show and also for
Noise.
myself. I enjoyed it. I did not love it as much as a lot of people, but I also struggled with Worst Person in the World. Not that they're bad films by any
Mhm.
means; they're good movies. I just something about the style of the filmmaking of Joachim Trier. A lot of people are able to connect to it better than I am, and yeah, I don't know, it just didn't click for me. But
You hate
I was,
Norwegians.
yeah,
Everyone
no,
knows, famously.
absolutely, yeah, no, I don't know what it is, but it was really well. I mean, it's a super well directed movie, well written, great performances. It didn't. I mean, the movie's name is Sentimental Value, and I could appreciate its intrinsic value, but it just
Mhm.
didn't give me that sentimental value. I didn't emotionally fully get connected to the movie. Maybe on rewatch one day it will hit better, and especially now that I know what's coming next and I can like dig deeper. Who knows? But there it is. I've caught up on one of the awards movies, which is great. One of the awards that was won at the Golden Globes last night. Raph, what was your takeaway
Yep.
on catching up on the Golden Globes today, overall?
I don't know that there were any sorry, probably gonna have to cut that. Um, I don't know that there were any major surprises in terms of the winners. There are some interesting takeaways. I thought for the most part, it kind of all landed the way or within a way that we thought it would. It's do the Golden Globes actually mean that much anymore? Like, are they as big of an indicator for the Oscars as they once were? We know that there's been a lot of shakeup in terms of like the voting bodies of both the Globes and the Oscars. So, yeah, it's hard to say like what we can project from here, but I do think that we got a bit of a better sense in terms of what these races are, or some of these races are going to look like over the next month or two leading up to the
You know,
Oscars.
I would actually argue that the Golden Globes are probably more relevant to the Oscars right now than they have been in years. But I do agree that there's still a question of how indicative are they of who's going to be nominated and who's going to win. But there definitely a couple things happened last night that do shape the race, and I have a hot take coming from the race that a lot of people. I do have a hot take, which is fun. So maybe we should jump into the
Well,
hottest
there
take
were definitely
of the
a
night.
lot of hot takes that came out of the Golden Globes. I think your hot take might be a little bit different than some of the other hot takes that we saw, but I'm excited to hear what
Yeah.
it is.
Oh, yeah. The hot takes you're talking about are going to be wildly different than my hot take. My hot take has more to do with predictions. So
Mhm.
there's been this sensibility. So you remember how it happened last year with the Golden Globes and Fernando Torres? Do you remember that?
Oh, she won for "I'm Still Here" or "I'm Still There."
Yeah. Yeah. So
Yeah.
Fernanda Torres she had not been nominated anywhere else, right? Like, I don't think she'd been nominated at Critics' Choice, SAG. She didn't make the BAFTA long list, and then she won at the Golden Globes, and she got to give her speech, and that like
Hmm.
rocketed the movie unexpectedly. Like, people after her speech, they were like, she could slip in and get nominated, and she got nominated. But then
Hmm.
she also lifted the whole movie into the Best Picture lineup, which was insane. And that's where we like really tapped into the idea that Brazil's fans are so crazy passionate that they can like really affect this. And so people have been talking for a while about, and I think it's Wagner Mora. I think you pronounce it Wagner. I try and pronounce people's names right if I can.
I think
That's
so.
what I've heard. So
We don't have
a
our
lot of talk has
international
been
correspondent Brian Loomis on to help us
right to help us
pronouncing
correct
his
that.
name. Yeah.
Um, there's been a lot of talk that Wagner Mora was going to probably win in this category that he won in last night, Best Picture Drama Actor, because a lot of the big hitters, Leo, Timmy, were in comedy. Ethan Hawke, so it kind of cleared the only real competition for him was Michael B. Jordan, and
Hmm.
so and the Golden Globes have become insanely international. Like I think only a quarter of their voters are American, and Sinners is obviously a little bit more American leaning film, and so um, it wasn't a big surprise that Wagner Moura won, but a lot of people are just really taking this idea that he's going to now then follow the Torres trajectory because he got up there and made a speech. Then he'll definitely get into that Oscar 5, and that will launch the Secret Agent into the 10. The Secret Agent will be in the 10 because it has strength
Hmm.
elsewhere, and because of there's literally nothing else to replace it at this point. I don't think. Um, but I don't. So Fernando Torres, like we said, was like a huge shock to the system last year. But people kind of knew what the secret agent's doing for the last month. And so, but if you looked at what I put in the poll position today, the article, the written version, um, Wagner Mora did not make the SGA nominations, and he didn't make the BAFTA long list. So everyone else is saying, well, that's no big deal because that's the same thing that happened for Fernando Torres. But the difference this time is I think it's a little bit more competitive, top five. And I don't know, man. So traditionally, when it comes to the acting races, SAG and BAFTA have been more indicative of who gets in.
Hmm.
And SAG chose Jesse Plemons, and the BAFTA long list loved Begonia. So when it comes to crossover time for the Oscars, I don't know if suddenly Wagner Moura's speech puts him in that five. I think Jesse Plemons is maybe
Interesting.
going to shock people because there's always at least some kind of shock on Oscar nominations morning, and we're running out of them. Like, there's not a whole lot of
Yeah.
options. This race is kind of boiling down a little too clear for everybody. And so, yeah, I'm going to stay with my boy Jesse Plemons all the way to Oscar nominations morning. And I would not be surprised if Wagner Moura does get in the five. To be clear, I haven't seen the movie, and I won't see the movie till after the nominations. But
Hmm.
I'm sure he's great in it. He's got great reviews for his. He's a great actor, and he's got a movie that's probably going to be in Best Picture, and he's like right there in that battle for five. I just don't think that the Golden Globes. I don't think you can just like check it off and be like Wagner Moore's in. So I'm going to go with Clemens. Actually, what I'm doing, Raph, and maybe they're subject to change. We got 10 days until the nominations for Oscars. So maybe I something happens and I
Oh
change my mind.
wow.
Yeah, it's I mean, we're right on the cusp now. Um,
Yeah.
what I'm actually going to do, and this is going to be this, we're kind of venturing away from the Golden Globes for just a second, but
Hmm.
the acting, I decided I'm going to do like pretty much all the top movies. I'm pairing up the actors where it makes sense. So like Jesse Buckley and Paul Mescal are getting in for Hamnet. Timothy Chalamet and Odessa
Hmm.
Azion are getting in, which is
Hmm.
that's kind of crazy because in order for Odessa Azion to get in, that probably means Ariana Grande is out, but it is what it is. But we're going to talk a little bit more about
But you're
supporting
not
actors.
doubling up Wicked. Yeah.
Not doubling up Wicked. I'm actually removing Wicked because Wicked's not going to be in Best
Yeah.
Picture,
So
and I
yeah, this works
yeah,
for your theory.
yeah,
Yeah.
and then I'm doubling up Emma Stone and Jesse Plemons, and then
Hmm.
one battle's going to have five. But I mean, Leo and
You're
Teyana Taylor are going
quadrupling.
to be in there.
Yeah.
And even
Yeah.
Sinners, Michael B. Jordan and Wumi Masaku. Even Sinners, that's I
Okay.
think a
Nice. I like
pairing.
that one.
So I think we're gonna
Yeah.
have all these pairs from these top movies of the year, and then a couple of like stragglers, like Ethan Hawke will be a lone nomination, and then Jacob Elordi a lone nomination. Amy Madigan, there's a couple of those. So that's my take. What were you thinking when you saw Wagner Mora was in? Were you thinking, okay, he's probably in the five?
It's so interesting because of how the Globes breaks it down between drama and musical or comedy. And right, everything that you laid out with Fernando Torres from last year uh, could be true, but I would have to look back at the who was really in the race last year, and it may have just been uh, that she won in a more loaded category, and that was able to sort of like elevate her into. I don't know if she ended up getting nominated at the Oscars, but at least like the movie itself. And this year, you look at the competition for drama in terms of the lead performances that Wagner Mora beat out, and it's Michael B. Jordan, who seems like he has the momentum to get an Oscar nomination, which is like really, really, really cool. But then it's also Joel Egerton in Train Dreams, which a lot of people love, but doesn't seem like it's going to have any real legs. Oscar Isaac and Frankenstein. That's just a performance that they threw in because they needed a 10th lead actor to nominate. Dwayne the Rock Johnson in The Smashing Machine, which it seems like his train is also slowing down, and Jeremy Allen White in Springsteen, which again, Springsteen and Jeremy Allen White, it feels like there's just not enough steam
So,
there. So you look at the
so
other
good.
category for lead performances in musical or comedy, and it's Chalamet, it's Leo, it's Ethan Hawke, it's Jesse, and then you also have Lee Byung Hun from No Other Choice, who will most likely end up being left out at the Academy Awards, and George Clooney for Jay Kelly. That's just like classic Globes star fucking kind of nomination. So, right, we're looking at like 3 to 4 nominations from the musical or comedy portion of the nominees. And then we're also looking at most likely Michael B. Jordan. So that probably rounds out 5. So Wagner's going to be fighting, or Wagner, he's going to be fighting for like a 5th spot with who, don't know if it's going to be Ethan Hawke, don't know if it's going to be Jesse Plemons. Um, in like a utopian world for me, I would say that Leo gets left out because I love Leo, but I don't know that his performance is like the thing to highlight in that movie. And it would be cool to see Wagner Morris slip in place of him. But like we know that Leonardo DiCaprio is not going to be left off of the Oscars top 5.
Yeah, I've made it clear too. We've talked about how I feel about Michael B. Jordan's performance, but also Leo. I mean, I would be fine with a lot of versions of this actor that would have Plemons. I really want Plemons in, and
Yeah, I
having
mean
not
he's
seen,
wonderful in that movie. That's like
yeah,
an incredible
and he's
performance.
never been really recognized to this level. So I would love that for him.
Mhm.
And so I wish it wasn't between him and Wagner Mora, because again, sight unseen, I can't really say one way or the other for Mora's performance. But I could envision, like, I would like it if Mora and Plemons got in, and either Michael B. Jordan or Leo got left off. Leo already has some of the awards flavors, so that would be, a little like Michael B. Jordan. It would be cool for him to get in from a sensibility for his
Mhm.
career. Although I think we both agree it's not his best like performance he's given or the most worthwhile performance. So, and the
Mhm.
Cenotaph online, you'll have a lot to talk about with that later. The Cenotaph is not happy about a
Yeah.
lot of things. They're going a little crazy. Speaking of the
Yeah.
Cenotaph, one sort of surprise, depending on how tuned in you are to these things, is Hamnet winning Best Picture Drama over Sinners. These categories make no sense anyway. Like, is One Battle After Another more comedy than Sinners is a musical, like,
My
drama? I
big
mean,
takeaway from the Golden Globes was I was happy that they recognized One Battle After Another as a comedy, because Paul Thomas Anderson is, I think, a fairly humorous filmmaker and director.
I don't
Uh,
mind it in
Phantom Thread
comedy.
is laugh out loud funny. There Will Be Blood can be read through a comedic lens, as can Boogie Nights. Even The Master and certainly One Battle After Another can be read through a comedic lens. But to your point, Sinners, the whole thing is very musical. It's not a musical the way that we classically define it, but music is like the basis for the story, and there are a lot of musical elements to that movie.
I mean,
So
there's
it's
like 3
interesting that we
original
throw it into drama
songs in
instead.
there, you know? So, like, it could be I mean,
Yeah,
and really
there is a
One Battle is not
large.
at all the major indicator of, like of that's not the one that was really miscategorized, because I agree, One Battle After Another is a very funny movie, but
Yeah.
it's one of these old categorizations that now most movies that are dramas have, like, a good bit of humor in them, but they're still serious. I mean, Begonia could be seen both ways too. I mean, it's a pretty intense movie that's also very funny. So
Hmm.
anyway, but look, the Globes are very international. And there's also the case of that stupid box office achievement award. And Sinners was eligible for box office achievement. And I don't know if the Globes voters think of that the way we all think of it, which is like a participation trophy award. But they might be thinking
Hmm.
of it like, we'll let Sinners get on the stage for this, and then we can also honor this other movie we love, which is Hamnet. Which for a long time, I was on the Hamnet hive as long as I could be, as like as the
Hmm.
other movie to challenge One Battle. There's no challenge. I mean, it's over. But I was okay. I was glad to see. Look, it was nice. Chloe Zhao got to go there and make a nice speech. But Sinners people, Sinners Hive is mad about that. And I just kind of get it.
I sort of get it. I sort of think it more so mirrors the first cinematic box office achievement award, whatever we're calling it, when it was given to Barbie, and Oppenheimer ended up winning for best drama, and then that award season race ended up playing out kind of similar to how we will most likely see this one play out, where Barbie and Oppenheimer were the two movies that defined 2023. Sinners and One Battle After Another are going to be the two movies that define 2025 in cinema. One Battle After Another is probably going to be the awards darling in the same way that Oppenheimer was. But for me personally, like, I love tuning into these awards races and all that stuff. I think it's super interesting. I think what they mean for movie culture and pop culture and things like that are really interesting and important and good to examine for myriad of different reasons. Um, and yeah, I mean, the same way that Barbie was like a movie that could be deserving of like any major award, I think that Sinners is also that. I think because it fits into something that we see as more genre and something that we see as falling into being targeted towards a specific demo of audience members, it's not going to get the same awards love as much as we are trying to break away from like our old school understanding of what an awardsy movie is. We still do have a lot of that, and something like Hamnet is going to be seen as being more awardsy because it's a period piece about William Shakespeare than a vampire movie, and like that's okay. um Sinners is still awesome despite only getting the box office achievement award.
And Sinners won, and look, Sinners won best score as well. Um, and it's been dominating despite the fact that a lot of people thought it would be a pretty good race between Sinners and One Battle. Sinners is just dominating. And congratulations to Ludwig Göransson, man. He's just like immediately becoming the master. Like his first Oscar was 2019 for Black Panther, obviously with Coogler, and then now he just won he just won for Oppenheimer, and now he's going to win for Sinners, and then next year he's going to win for Odyssey. So he's going to have
Yeah.
4 Oscars in like 8 years. He's the new Nick Saban of scores. It's like
Pretty
50%.
amazing. I think I'm pretty sure Kugler and Ludwig were college roommates at one point, and
That's
then
cool.
Kugler, and then somehow Childish Gambino came along and he was like, "Hey, Ryan Coogler, your friend Ludwig Göransson is really cool. Can I make music with him?" And Ryan Coogler was like, "Yeah, sure, whatever. You guys can like be connected." And then Ludwig came back and he was like, "Hey, old roommate Ryan Coogler, let me make scores for your movies." And now the two of them are like both masters within their respective crafts, which is just like an awesome thing for former
And
roommates to now
And
be,
somewhere in there,
at the top of their game. Yeah.
and somewhere in there, Nolan was like, "I'm going to borrow Ludwig from you, Ryan, for my movies
Yeah,
now. It'll
he was
be
like, "Oh, Hans Zimmer is busy doing Dune. Let me dump him and pick up Ludwig." And now Hans Zimmer can't get Christopher Nolan to return any of his calls.
it's funny
Chris is
because
like,
like
"No, I'm busy."
John Williams is so connected like with Steven Spielberg, and we're getting a new John Williams with Steven Spielberg next year, which is pretty cool. But Ludwig Göransson, he might be like a weird where he's tied to two great directors, which is going to be kind of interesting to see where he's just kind of split. And then I guess there's like Michael Giacchino, who's like more connected to a studio with Pixar. And he just, I mean, Giacchino's all over the place. He kind of does everything. But um, anyway, so that was kind of interesting. The biggest takeaway from the night, really, I think, is Teyana Taylor getting that supporting actress win. Um, if Amy Madigan had won, you could see uh, a potential for Madigan to come in and kind of dominate the award season. Not necessarily sweep because
Mhm.
this race is still kind of too volatile, maybe for that. But um, now you have to wonder if is Teyana Taylor the front runner for supporting actress to win. I think it's going to be a really fun race to watch. I don't know that you can call it. Um, I know you love Teyana Taylor um, from both this performance and 1001. How
Yeah.
stoked were you to see her get a win?
Oh, super happy to see her get a win. When we were doing way too early predictions last year for 2025, I was go back, run the tape. I've been on the Tiana Taylor train
That's true.
from the jump. That was my one take that has it seems to be on track in terms of my bold predictions at that time. Also, she's incredible in that movie in such a limited amount of screen time. Like she does so much when she is on screen. Her performance, her presence, everything, the emotional depth, the what she's able to communicate with just like facial expressions, like all of it is fantastic. So it was super cool to see her win. It will be interesting to see how this race ends up shaking out because it feels like this one is kind of up in the air. I don't want to say that this is one of the weakest categories. We do know that Hollywood tends to be really bad at writing supporting roles for women. So like you look at some of the other contenders and it's like Emily Blunt, Ariana Grande, Amy Madigan for a horror flick. So like that's a really interesting two-person race if we're saying that it's coming down to Amy Madigan and Tiana Taylor. Like two roles that we would like not expect to be things that would be recognized by the Academy Awards, and it seems like it's coming down to the two of them, which again is freaking amazing.
I also have a roll the tape moment, but for me, it's really bad one. When I said like a month ago or 2 months ago, whenever it was right before Wicked came out, and that was my mistake. I
Mhm.
said, right in permanent marker, Jesse Buckley, Timothy Chalamet, and Ariana Grande. I should have stopped before I got to Grande. That was my bad. The movie wasn't out. But it was because this race is so it was so open for her at that time. If Wicked had just performed to its expectations, I think Ariana Grande would be cruising. Because a horror
Mhm.
performance and then a performance where Tiana Taylor is just not in the movie quite enough. If the movie for Ariana
She
Grande had
disappears for the
performance
last
benefit,
like 2 hours of the movie. Like that's
yeah,
a
I mean,
hard performance
it's a
for
hard
people to
sell
walk away from and
to
say,
win.
yeah,
Like it's one thing
yeah.
to get nominated; it's another to win for that performance. So yeah, like Ari had it in the bag at the movie performed, and now I think I'm predicting Ariana Grande to miss the Oscars, which is crazy a little bit because she's made it everywhere else. But here's the deal. So Wicked didn't make PGA. Cynthia
Mhm.
Erivo is dead in the water. Um
She's doing like her
and
one woman show where she's playing like 50 characters or something.
yeah, she's got something crazy going on. Cynthia Erivo will be back. It's fine. Ariana
Yeah.
Grande did a great job. I would still like I would probably still put her in my personal five, maybe after having now seen Sentimental Value, which is like two of the main competitors. Um, but here's the deal: Elle Fanning missed the SAG nomination, and Elle Fanning missed the BAFTA long list for Sentimental Value. I think Elle Fanning is not going to be in this group of five because
Hmm.
now SAG completely turned a blind eye to international films, which isn't that uncommon. But SAG actors do make up a big chunk of who's voting in the acting performances, and if it's not SAG,
Hmm.
usually the other body that can help save you is BAFTA, and she ain't in neither of them. So it's kind of rough when she's already like on the cusp as it is. I think she's out. So, but you sub in Wumi Masaku, you could sub in Wumi Masaku, who's been showing up in a lot of places. She got the
Hmm.
SAG. I think she got Critics' Choice. Obviously, she was at the Golden Globe. Was she at the Golden Globe? Yes.
I
Yeah,
think
I
that might
think
have
she
been.
was.
Well, she
No,
must have been there with the Sinners crew, or was she
no,
at
she
the
might not have
Critics'
been. I
Choice
don't think she
Award?
was in the. I don't. I'm trying to think.
I don't think she was
Was she
nominated.
nominated? She wasn't. She
She
wasn't.
wasn't nominated at Golden Globes. Yeah.
Not for supporting. Okay, so she missed the Golden Globe. So you've definitely got Madigan and Taylor in there.
Hmm.
And then you've got
There's
I, I think Inga Ibstad or
there's no love
Lilius.
for any of my.
Any love for who?
I was I was gonna ask. There's no love for any of my other one battle girlies. No Regina or
No,
anything or anyone else.
Regina's
Right?
not showing
Yeah.
up anywhere at all. Um,
Yeah.
so I think Inga Ibstad or Lilius is showing up a good amount of places. She didn't show up at SAG because they didn't do any internationals, but she did make
Hmm.
it out the long list. So I think Inga's in there. And then you have Ariana Grande, Wumi Masaku, and Odessa Azion. And the thing with Odessa Azion is Marty Supreme did not perform well early because it came out so late. But it's picking up.
Hmm.
Azion, she appeared on the BAFTA long list, and she got that SAG nomination. So that's where I'm expecting her maybe to slip in. But I think maybe Wumi Masako gets in too, so that's got Ariana Grande slipping out if that happens. I wouldn't be surprised to see any combination of those three individuals in the last two spots, whether it's Grande and Masaku, Grande and Azayon, Masaku and Azayon, whatever that turns out. Um, so we'll see. That's interesting. The other interesting race that we have left is supporting actor, which shocked the world like last week with Jacob Elordi winning the Critics' Choice. And of course, a lot of people theorize, speculate that it's because of vote splitting between Sean Penn and Benicio del Toro, where
Hmm.
no one can, no one is on the same page about who they want to support for one battle. And so then you have the people coming up the middle. And for Critics' Choice, they went with Elordi, which was wild. But Frankenstein is getting a lot of love, so you cannot count Elordi out. Frankenstein is a top five Best Picture nominee right now, and and
Sorry,
it's
before you keep
crazy.
going, just
Go ahead.
we could have we could have anywhere between 3 to 5 acting nominations for people in horror movies, which is pretty wild. Between Jacob Elordi, Michael B. Jordan, Wumi in Sinners, Amy Madigan in Weapons, and like maybe if you get there could be like someone else who sneaks in that I'm forgetting. But yeah, we get like 4 nominations
Yeah.
for
Well, and
performances in.
depending on how you classify it, I mean, Begonia isn't really is got horror elements in terms of. I mean, it's like a misery
Yeah,
almost type situation.
maybe
um,
more of of a sci-fi thriller, but yeah,
yeah.
if
Although
we're
it's not.
throwing Begonia in there, then we're probably clearing 5.
So anyway, whatever, however you spec, we're getting
It-
back into categories. Um, um, the one thing that isn't in question about the supporting actor race is the five. The five is like dead, dead, dead set. Like it's Penn, Del Toro, Skarsgård, Mescal, and Elordi. Skarsgård also didn't get in SAG, as we keep saying, because they didn't do a single international. But Skarsgård literally won the
Mhm.
Golden Globe last night, which I think I think Skarsgård is the new front runner because if you look at it, I think he's probably going to win BAFTA. Um, Obviously, he can't win SAG, so SAG may go to Lordy, or it could actually go to Del Toro. I wouldn't be surprised to see it go to Del
Hmm.
Toro. Wouldn't be shocked to see it go. Um, you know, to one of the other like. I don't think it'll go to Mescal. Um, it could go
No,
to
it seems
Sean.
like
It
he's
could go to
kind of
Sean
just
Penn along for
it
the
could go
ride.
to Sean Penn. Seems like Paul is just yeah, he's happy to be there.
Yeah. Um, so we'll see about. But that's an exciting race. We have two exciting supporting races, which we haven't had a lot of exciting supporting races in recent years. Which leads us to the lead actor races.
No, who
Go ahead, go back. Well, let's walk it back. Um, the year of everything,
I was
everyone
just gonna ask
last
who
year.
won Best Supporting Actress last year?
Who was it last year? That's a good question.
Because the year before, Divine Joy Randolph swept
Yeah, completely. And last year was
a
Kieran Culkin,
complete
and
sweep,
supporting actor last year was Kieran Culkin,
which
right?
also kind of
Complete
that felt
sweep.
like it was a sweep too.
It
Yeah,
definitely was.
who
Uh,
won last year?
I can't get over to it. I'm trying
Oh,
to
Zoe
be,
Saldana.
and that was a sweep. It felt like it was between her and
Yeah.
Ariana Grande, but it just was like a sweep, 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 and then and it was over. Um, we've
Hmm.
forgotten Amelia Perret. Everyone just like completely removes that from their brain. Um, so yeah, before that, and then you had like Kiki Kwan and supporting actor. The last exciting supporting actress was the year Jamie Lee Curtis shocked everybody, leapfrogging um, Stephanie Hsu and Angela Bassett, Carrie Condon. That was a good supporting race. But the lead races have
Yeah.
been more interesting recently, and this year it's over. My permanent marker remarks are not going badly in these categories. I said it, and I'll say it again. It's Jesse Buckley and Timothy Chalamet. Will Timothy Chalamet win at SAG? Maybe not because they gave him the award last year. But even if he doesn't win at SAG, you really can't you really can't base anything on that because if they don't give it to him this year, it won't be because they don't think he was the best performance. It will be because they don't want to award him 2 years in a row.
Hmm.
So it won't really be indicative of
It'd be cool
anything.
if that went to Michael B. Jordan.
That would be cool. I would also think it'd be cool if it went to Ethan Hawke, who's a veteran who would have a chance to be recognized. And I haven't seen that performance, but I've seen the trailer, and it looks like an incredible performance from the trailer. And I trust our buddy Brian Loomis, who says it's a great performance. So um, and then who else is in the SAG race? I mean, Jesse
We
Plemons
kind
is
of
in the
went
SAG
through.
race. He's not going to win.
We kind of went.
Um, yeah,
I was gonna say we
we
kind of
did.
went through the lead actor race, and I think it seems like it's Timmy's to lose. I think what will be interesting is like who ends up being nominated. And you never know that there could always be a surprise. Which, as much as I am in the Timmy hive, it would be kind of funny for him to sweep leading up to the Oscars and then to see what kind of mental breakdown would be caused by him not also winning the Oscar. I think we would enter a new psychotic phase of Timothy Chalamet that I think would be very interesting, both like artistically and for Timothy Chalamet as the person. I don't think that we're actually leaning that way, but a guy can dream.
Timmy, I think
Do you think?
Go ahead. Go ahead with your question.
No, go for it because I was going to
I was
change subjects.
I was
So
just gonna say, Timmy. I think Timmy will win, and I think I just think I would be so disappointed to see Timmy lose to Leo or Michael B. Jordan, just because if you're on my page, you've seen Marty Supreme and enjoyed it. I think his performance is pretty clearly clear and away better than those two performances, or like more significant, especially like this. I do think this is Chalamet's best performance he's ever given. Personally, some people may disagree with that. I wouldn't be as mad if he lost to like Plemons because I also love Plemons' performance so much. But I still think
Hmm.
this is really Timmy's moment, and I mean he is, despite his age, he is one of the greats I think coming up, and some of that stuff that was going on also seemed to be a little bit performative with his weird antics over the last couple. He seemed to still be in Marty Supreme mode,
Yeah.
whether he was doing it on purpose or accident, whether it just kind of was left over like the Austin Butler Elvis accent. I don't really know, but
Yeah, I I think it's that Timmy has in a lot of ways become a real life version of Marty Supreme, or Marty Supreme is in a lot of ways informed by what Josh Safdie saw within Timothy Chalamet as a performer and like persona in real life. And I was going to say that the three, we'll say, top lead performances for the male category are all like it's three dudes who are weaponizing their movie stardom for their performance. And it's not so much that they're like doing like Daniel Day-Lewis style transformative performing. It is like Bob is kind of a version of Leo DiCaprio, and like Leo DiCaprio weaponizing the sort of like persona and aura of Leonardo DiCaprio. Michael B. Jordan is very much so doing movie star role in Sinners, where he is just like this great presence and you enjoy seeing him on screen because he's extremely charming. And Timothy Chalamet is a form of Timothy Chalamet just turned up to 12 as Marty Supreme. So I just think it's interesting that like it's fun that those are like the top three ones, and it's not just like, oh, Jeremy Allen White did a Bruce Springsteen impression for an hour and 45 minutes. Like, I think it's more fun to get the Leo, Michael B. Jordan, Timmy version of those nominations as opposed to the Jeremy Allen White version.
yes, and get ready next year for the most amount of actors in biopics. Like it's going to be weeds. I don't know if you've looked that much at the schedule. I can't wait to get into this conversation. I really think we need to have this conversation early February. If we can, I'd like to have the 2026 way too early predictions at the beginning of February because I'd really love to get those thoughts in before Wuthering Heights. Um, not that that many people are probably going to go, but I would love to make people make a decision on Wuthering Heights before it comes out instead of just chalking that one up.
Yeah.
So anyway, you had a question for me. Now you can shoot.
Oh, I was gonna ask if you. So it seems like the best actress race is it's a lock. Like Jessie Buckley is probably going to sweep. It seems like. Do we think that there's any intrigue around who's going to get nominated, or do you think that that's all pretty much set in stone too?
No, there's definitely intrigue around who's going to get nominated. Um, Look, anyone that was looking for Amanda Seyfried in Testament of Anne Lee, it's so done, so done. Missed the BAFTA long lists, missed SAG, missed. I mean, she's not gotten anything. She didn't make the Golden Globes, so like, which I haven't seen Anne Lee. No one's seen Anne Lee. I don't know if the movie exists. There's a trailer, but I don't know, you know, where this movie is. I will tell you though.
No,
I will,
Amanda
I will tell
Seyfried
you
did
something.
did make it.
She made the
She
Globes.
got
Okay.
nominated for yeah,
Okay. Well,
because they
everyone
do
makes the Globes.
6 instead of yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah,
they
yeah.
do 12 for
12.
lead.
12.
Yeah,
Okay, yeah.
so
As I said
that's
that,
a
I was
lot
like,
of
that's
performances.
probably not true. Um,
Kate Hudson got nominated for the Neil Diamond cover band movie. That's
yeah.
her
I've seen that
and Hugh
it's not a
Jackman.
performance that you
That
would
I
like. It's not a performance you would like at all. And I didn't love it. My dad loved it. My dad's seen that movie 3 times at theaters.
yeah.
Uh I and that's not someone who hates the movie, okay? Like, there's people who come away from that movie really disliking it. I'm in the camp of it was a pretty nice movie. Like, I felt the emotion of it.
Mhm.
It's wild. There's, like, wild stuff that happens that if it didn't happen in real life, you'd be like, "This is way over melodramatic. Why would they do these things?" But it's just actually the truth. So sometimes, the truth is stranger than fiction. Look, it's a fine performance. And it got nominated at SAG. Not just Golden Globes. It got nominated at SAG. She's actually one of the ones on the bubble for Best Actress.
Oh
Let's see
wow.
who. but like let's see your she's like literally number 6, dude. So but to answer your question, so Jessie Buckley's obviously winning. Rose Byrne is like so firmly in. She won the other category last night.
Hmm.
She's definitely in. Emma Stone is not missing anywhere. She's in. And then who else is chasing?
So then we've got
No.
Chase Infinity, your nemesis for the award season. Cynthia Erivo got nominated, but it seems like Wicked
She's
might end up
out.
getting shut out like completely, which
It'll get. I mean,
I
it's
would
gonna
be
get
very.
techs. It's gonna get tech noms. It won't get any wins.
It won't get any wins. Yeah.
I'm out of wins for Wicked.
I'm interested to see if Avatar will still have to get tech noms, right? Like
The
it's gonna
other,
win
the other,
best visual effects, but it's
yeah,
not gonna
yeah.
make the 10,
Avatar.
right?
No, 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 no. It's dead.
Yeah.
Avatar and Wicked are out at this point. I think F1 and Weapons have better chances than Avatar and Wicked. I think if
Wow.
anything slips in that 10th slot in Best Picture, and we'll get to that in a second, it'll be F1 or Weapons, and we'll get there.
Hmm.
The other one that I was overlooking, it's like I couldn't. Renata Reinsva from Sentimental Value. I think she's in.
Hmm.
She got in the Bachelor
Yeah.
list. She missed SAG, as we keep talking about, um, but she's made it everywhere else. I don't see a world where Reinsva doesn't make the cut. So my top four is Jessie Buckley, Rose Byrne, Reinsva, and Stone, and then the question is the fifth spot, and I think it's down to Chase Infinity or freaking Kate Hudson, and just because of the movie, I think it's Chase Infinity, dude. I don't actually see anything. It's literally the only thing that can happen that's not Chase Infinity is Kate Hudson at this point in my mind.
Hmm.
And so I think Chase Infinity will make it in there on the strength of the movie. And yeah, I've made it very clear,
Yeah.
and
What
I've
about
played it
Jennifer
up a little
Lawrence?
bit. No, she's gone. She's no. She
She's
doesn't have. I
toast.
mean, they literally don't have a. So if they didn't make it at SAG, like SAG skipped over Rhinesville, right? So you got to think they cleared a whole extra spot, and they went
Hmm.
for Hudson. So, so
God.
and and Hudson made the BAFTA long list. I think I'm pretty sure that Hudson made the
Okay.
BAFTA long list. So I mean,
Has
it's
Hudson
just
won an
done.
Academy Award?
She won, I think, for Almost Famous, or she was at least
Okay.
nominated. I don't know if she won.
She was definitely nominated. She's received
Um,
one nomination for Almost Famous. Okay, interesting. It's it's reminding me of oh my god, who was it? Who was it Renee Zellweger who won for Judy and a couple
yeah,
years ago? I'm
yeah.
getting that vibe from the like potential nomination for Kate Hudson where it's just like here's a lady who was cool 15, 20 years ago and like I still love Kate Hudson, like I think she's awesome in a movie that like 14 people saw and like isn't really making any sort of buzz within like
The, you
like
know,
movie or like cinephile circles.
the
Maybe
deal
your mom saw it and and like we're gonna give her a nomination.
to that point, though, it doesn't have. We feel like nobody's seen it because online chatter is young. Old people
Hmm.
did go see this movie to some degree, and they loved it because it's emotional,
Yeah.
it's heartfelt, it's well made movie, dude. It's not badly made. There's a little bit, it's a bit maudlin at times, but like,
Hmm.
dude, I was in the theater and I felt a little bit because this is the power of the theater. Is like I got a little bit of an extra boost because I heard people around me sniffling, man. And there is, if you're just a human being, like the story of these people, like there's some stuff going on that you're like, man, that sucks.